Outlet pass for Rick Nash. Nash now tries to split the defense and walk in. Nice move. Another nice move. You score! What a goal! It doesn't get any better than this.
As he plays to the point, instead, he works his way back free. Granlund fires, score!
Hello and welcome to the Puck Drops Here podcast. I'm your host, John Crawford, along with my brother Howie here for episode number 2 of season 4. Howie, how we doing? I know you haven't been feeling great lately, but how was your week?
It was actually kind of long.
Yeah. Mine was too, but you know what? I am on vacation this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm on vacation.
My hours for my day job changed, though, starting next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I go in only by a half hour. I go in a half hour later.
Oh.
Which is nice, because now I get a half hour nap in the morning when I get off my...
Oh, that's a half hour longer nap.
No, I wasn't getting one at all.
Oh, so now you get a cat nap in between.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good.
So I'm happy about that.
Oh, good. And how's Lucky doing?
Good. He's well, that's one thing I got to go out and buy today. I have to go out and buy a bell.
A bell? Oh, for his.
For going outside, because
right.
It's getting to where I'm not leaving the door open at night now because it's starting to get colder.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but he's got his little a separate little pad in here that I let him go on.
Right.
When at night. So.
Right. That's cool.
But come during the day, he's gonna have to figure out what he's going to do with the snow.
That'll be fun to watch.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any hockey news today?
I have nothing because it's been all quiet on the front.
Right. The only big news, in which the preliminary start today, is the World Cup of Hockey. I am excited and I am stoked. I'm ready for this to go. Go USA.
That's really the only thing going on. Is
yep, it looks good.
Oh.
It should be a really good tournament. I just pray nobody gets hurt. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. So USA plays Europe today.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. And we have, for our show number 2, we have our predictions for the Metropolitan Division today.
That is correct.
Yeah. So just let's recap what we did last week. Well, we did the Atlantic Division. And my picks for the Atlantic Division, starting from team number 8 to 1, is I picked for number 8, I picked Toronto, and Howie also had Toronto. At number 7 was Ottawa, and Howie had Ottawa. At number 6, I had Buffalo, and Howie had Buffalo. At number 5, I had Detroit, and Howie had Detroit. At number 4, I had Boston. Howie had Boston. At number 3, I had Montreal, and Howie had Florida. At number 2, I had Florida, and Howie had Montreal. And then we both had Tampa Bay for number 1, winning the division.
Had a lot of controversy in that division.
Yeah. So now we move into the Metropolitan Division. And we will do it the same way, from 8 to number 1. And today we will start with Howie's number 8 pick. So there you go, huh?
My number 8. Well, actually, I think this. I think of all the divisions, this was the most inactive during the off season, in my opinion. And really went on too much with this whole division, really. My number 8 was one of the very quiet teams in the off season. They really didn't do much of anything. And I picked the same basement dwellers as there was last year. And I picked Carolina.
Wow, Carolina. Okay.
No one really did anything.
Well, after much research for this division, which was really hard because there wasn't not a lot of movement around.
For Carolina, yeah, their biggest signing was probably Stepniak, and that was about it.
My pick for number 8 was a team that did make some moves, but didn't make enough moves. So their team all essentially just got older. And I think that if you look at past few seasons with them, they have kind of been trending down. Although last year, well, they were still pretty low. But I think they are going to be at the bottom. And I chose the New Jersey Devils.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, they are getting older. I would agree to that.
Yeah. So I have New Jersey, and Howie has Carolina as the number 8. And I like that we both have something different for a change.
Yeah, to start off.
All right.
I'm just looking at who they had their off-season signings. I mean, their biggest sign, Ben Joy, Devontae Smith-Pelly.
Yeah, they really, they didn't add a lot. I mean, they didn't. Lovejoy on defense, McWilliam, Vernon Fiddler. They just hadn't really done a lot. So they're my number 8 pick. My number 7 pick, another team that really didn't add much to their team. I really thought that I would have seen a lot more because of where they were last year, but I really didn't, especially defensively. But I chose the Carolina Hurricane as number 7.
Okay. I'll go with that. My number 7, again, they didn't really sign too many people, but my number 7 would be your number 8, New Jersey.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, my number 6. This one. And I think from this point on, from 1 to 6, it's going to be a lot tighter than I thought.
Yeah, well,
I
mean, for me, the way I think it'll be a battle between 7 and 8, 5 and 6, and then 1 through 4.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So my number 6. Actually, I at the beginning of the season, the beginning of last season, I had a lot of high praises for them, and I thought they would do a lot better than what they turned out to be. They didn't do a lot in the off season. They didn't hardly do anything in their off season. I chose the Blue Jackets for number 6.
Okay. My number 6, again, another team that was very quiet in the off season. I don't know why no one in this division just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of happy with what they had. I don't know what it is. My number 6, though, it probably I don't know. It'll probably be looked at as more of a decline, but I don't think it's necessarily a decline. The fact that the division is going to be somewhat tight. Mm-hmm. But I chose Philadelphia at number 6.
All right, my number 5 team. How did that happen? My number 5 team. This one may surprise you, but I'm trying to find them here. On my notes, anyway, on them. They added some things to the team, but they didn't add enough to their team. In fact, last year they actually were really good last year. But I don't think that because of the way that the rest of the teams are trending right now, that this team, and this is why I say these teams are all going to be within just a few points, a few wins from each other. But I'm putting at number 5 the New York Rangers. At number 5.
That is a surprise.
Yeah.
But I would agree that they're going to be really. I mean, it's the same with the Atlantic. I mean, even though I have Detroit. Well, Detroit 5th. Yeah. They're not going to be that far out of first.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking with this division. I think it's going to be that tight where the Rangers could be at number 3 or 2. But,
right.
I don't know. My gut is telling me this is where they're going to end up, 5.
My number 5 was a team that was extraordinarily quiet in the off season. And last year, I don't know. I think last year was one of those fluke seasons because I don't know. I think they're better on paper than what they've been producing on the ice, and I'm hoping they'll start playing up to what they should be.
I think I know what you're going to say here.
I mean, I'd like to see them improve a little more. I wish they made some moves in the offseason. But I have Columbus at number 5.
Yeah. And remember last year, I mean, we had they looked awesome on paper. We thought, well, they can win this thing.
Yeah, because if I remember, I think I had Columbus like in 3rd.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it was just a weird fluke season, and they just...
Yeah, they never really came out of the gate. They just...
No. I don't know what happened to them.
So now our number 4. So my number 4 could easily be number 6.
Right.
Or number 2. But I'm taking Philadelphia at number 4.
Ooh. Okay. I like the fact that this division is actually very different for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4, which could easily be a number 2. I don't know what moves they made during the off season. I think it hurt them more than anything else. I think they lost more pieces than they added on. But I mean, they did bring in a lot of good players. They brought in Andrew, brought in P.A. Paranto. They brought in Wilson, Chimera. I picked the Islanders, but I think they lost a lot of pieces during the off season also.
Well, they did. They lost Okposo, Nielsen, Martin, Zidlicki.
Yeah.
They did, but I think what they've done in the off season, even though they let go of those guys, they really the ones that they got back, I think, were comparable to what they had.
Yeah, I think they lost more than what they brought in.
I don't know. I think they're going to improve. So you had them at number 4. My number 3
Correct.
is your number 4. And I have the New York Islanders. I think that they've done enough. It wasn't a lot. They've done enough to fill in what they lost in the offseason. And I think that they have enough. They didn't make any changes on defense, and I think that they've improved on defense. They didn't make any changes. They're going to have the same defense that they had last year. That they could be a number, well, I have them at number 3, but they could be a number 2.
Right.
Now, if things don't work out, they could be a number 6. I think that those teams from 6 on up are going to be that tight.
Right.
So who do you have for number 3?
My number 3, I picked, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, they're one of the higher rated teams picked to win the cup and whatnot, but I think even last year I still think they're overrated. They're a team, they've aged, and they're just getting, I think last year was just, they got lucky. I picked Pittsburgh at number 3.
Wow. Yep. I agree with you, Howie. I think they are an overrated team. Yeah, they've got a lot of talent on that team. But they're aging. They're an aging team.
Yeah.
Can they win the division? Do they have enough in them to win the division?
I think last year they just had I think last year they just hit that point in the season where, because every team goes through it, where you have your good run and your average and your bad,
Right. I mean,
and they just got
peaked at the
lucky
right
and
time.
hit that good run in the playoffs.
Well,
They peaked at the right time, and that was it.
right. But that's what it's all about, right? I mean, it's all about peaking at the right time.
So I think that's all that happened. I think it was just luck of the draw, draw of the luck or luck of the draw, however that goes.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think they're overrated and they're not as good as everyone hypes them up to be.
They have a lot of talent on that team, though. They do have a lot of talent on that team. And I think, so you have them at number 3. My pick for number 2 is Pittsburgh. I think that they have enough talent on their team to win the division. I don't see them being a number 3 or number 4 in that division. I don't see them. I mean, they could be number 3, but I don't know. I think it's all going to be about staying healthy for them.
Right, and I think if they stay healthy, they'll stay at 3. If they have an injury-prone season, they're going to drop to 4 or 5.
Wow. But I have Pittsburgh at number 2. They could win the division. I mean, they.
I don't think they're. I don't think they're that big of a caliber team to where they'll win a division. I mean, the only way they could do it is if they still stay healthy all season, and my number 2 and number 1 teams are beat up.
Right. I mean, I want to say that they're overrated, but you look at the talent, look at their roster. They got everybody, man. They've got a lot of talent on this team.
No, I agree. I just think they're just.
You're just not a Pittsburgh fan.
Well, I mean, I like Pittsburgh. I just think they're just overrated. I mean, there's one other team in the league too. I think that is far overrated as well. But we haven't covered it.
Right, I got you. All right, you're number 2 then, Howie.
My number 2. I think this team is actually aging too, but they're, I don't know. It's almost, you could almost say they're a consistent number 2. They're just always kind of there. They did make nothing really big.
Right.
Their biggest move probably would have been Brandon Perry bringing him in, and that's pretty much it. But I picked the Rangers to be at number 2, which is a big difference from you because you have them at 5.
Right, but like I said, the Rangers could easily be number 2.
Right. But I think the Rangers are aging too. But I don't know. This seems
I
like
think
they're
my biggest surprise in mine so far is where I put Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia has improved. I have them at number 4.
Yeah. The Rangers are. I mean, granted, I can't stand the Rangers, but they're just one of those teams that just, I don't know. They're the thorn in your side. They're just there.
Right. They're like Detroit, but Detroit, we'll wait till we get over to the West. That'll be interesting. So we both have the same number 1s again, though.
Yeah.
And so we both pick Washington.
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 And they were quiet too. They didn't really do anything, but I don't think they really need to do anything.
No.
I mean, they're solid.
They no longer have Mike Richards or Chimera.
Yeah.
They did pick up Lars Eller and Brad Malone and Brett Connolly. And another goaltender, but they really, I don't know if they really needed another goaltender. Another team that is just stacked with talent. They got a lot of talent on the team. They made really no changes on defense. They're going to have the same defense. They're a defensive team anyway. At least they kind of seemed that way last year, where they used to be such an offensive powerhouse before their coaching change.
Right.
But they'll be good. They will be good. So there you go. I have from 8 to 1, New Jersey, Carolina, Columbus, New York Rangers, Philadelphia, New York Islanders, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Howie has Carolina, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Columbus, New York Islanders, Pittsburgh, New York Rangers, Washington. I kind of like that one. So there you go. Next week, we will be covering the Central, right? Or do we do the Pacific?
Yes. No. It says Central.
All right, we do the Central. So I think you will be surprised by my picks because I have completed my Central.
I'm looking at mine right now. Mine is done.
Yeah, good. All right. So with that, we will say goodbye at this time. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching our podcast. You can go out to our website at www.thepuckdropshere.com. Go over to our podcast page, and you can see our episode 1 there. Along with this episode will be there very shortly. And also, you can make your picks for the Atlantic Division right now, and then we'll also post the Metropolitan. And you'll be able to see our picks there also. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Send us an email at jonandhowie@thepuckdropshere.com. We are also on Hockey Talk Radio. We are on late nights on hockeytalkradio.us. They offer a bunch of great programs there to improve your hockey game, and a lot of programs that you can get caught up on what's going on around the NHL. And Howie, do you have anything else to add before we go?
Negative.
Okay. So that we will see you next week, and we bid you all adieu.